WCBI News at 10 starts now.
An officer-involved shooting in Alabama leads to the discovery of a body. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. Earlier today, police in Aliceville were notified that a car was stolen. Police then tried to stop that car, then a chase ensued and ended with one person being arrested. Our Quentin Smith, he's been at the scene all day in Aliceville. So, Quentin, was anyone actually shot?
Scott, Aliceville Police Chief Tony Jones says neither the officer or the suspect was shot in this incident. There were multiple scenes from when the chase started to when things ended with gunfire. Now, at this time, we don't know how the body that was discovered in the car is connected to this incident. But what we do know is residents say they've never seen anything like this before.
The phones have been just crazy ever since this happened because they thought we were involved in it.
For Lisa Bridges, Friday morning was business as usual at the Spiller Furniture and Mattress store that she works at.
I was just sitting at my desk.
Then things suddenly took a left turn.
I felt like I was watching an episode of Cops.
But instead of the TV show, when she walked outside of her store, she saw real investigators working a crime scene.
I caught a glimpse of the car and the two cops that was chasing them. And then we heard more cops going.
It was 11 o'clock Friday morning when things unfolded. Aliceville Police Chief Tony Jones says that's when they first got word of a stolen vehicle. Not long after investigators spotted the car, the suspect then led them on a chase.
Unknown of the location where the vehicle was stolen from, that started out direction on Memorial Parkway, that went over the overpass at Memorial Parkway that ended up where we are now.
The chase came to an abrupt end on the intersection of Columbus Road and 3rd Avenue.
I think the cop actually hit them and wrecked them right there.
Once on scene, investigators discovered at least one body inside of the vehicle. At this time, Chief Jones says they don't know how long the body has been in the car and they can't release how it's connected to the incident. However, the chief did say one of his officers did discharge his firearm, but no one was hurt.
At this time, no officers from my agency or any other agency was injured or shot anyone.
So investigators spent several hours working multiple scenes. Jones says this investigation is now in the hands of the State Bureau of Investigation. Bridges says Friday's incident rattled and shocked the entire Aliceville community.
We didn't know what was going on. At first I thought it was like maybe an accident. And we kind of ran out the back to see, and then we didn't see them go, toward, Pickinsville way. We didn't see them go that way. So we come back in, and that's when we realized.
Now, no charges have been brought against the suspect who was arrested today. And, of course, we're going to continue to follow this developing story and bring you more details as they become available. Scott?
Definitely a wild story there. Thank you very much, Quentin. Time now to get a first look at our weekend forecast, or Friday night forecast that is. We'll send things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Hey there, Keith.
Not the weekend yet, Scott. We're still working. Eventually. Another 30 minutes. All right, Tupelo, we've had some showers and thunder showers here this evening, some heavy downpours. That's a live view. Most of that is beginning to pulse on down in the Tupelo area. Still some rain, but the heaviest downpours back to the west of Saltillo. A little bit of rain on a light basis here in the Columbus area as well. Temperatures are currently in the 70s out there. That's about where we will be for the rest of tonight. Scattered showers and storms for your Saturday, warm and steamy before the storms. That rain chance 60%. Your full forecast coming up.
A Republican candidate for Attorney General makes a pit stop here in the Friendly City. State Representative Mark Baker was at Beans and Cream this afternoon, meeting folks in Columbus. Baker has been a prosecutor for several years and a representative for District 74. That covers Rankin County. Baker says he's running to fight for Mississippi's values. He also talked about a recent letter threatening to sue the state for placing "In God We Trust" on license plates and the state seal.
We received a letter from the Humanist Society a couple months ago that said if you don't remove "In God We Trust" from the seal and the tag, we're going to sue you. Well, we need an attorney general that's going to stand up and say, please, come on, sue us, because in Mississippi, in God we do trust, and we are not going to remove that. We're going to stand our ground on Mississippi values.
A fun history lesson: a Republican hasn't held the position as Attorney General since Reconstruction. Headlines of Mississippi's coastal beaches closing due to the algae bloom are sparking questions for tourists. It's true, the water is off limits, but the sand is not. And as Courtney Ann Jackson explains, that may be just what you need to explore for a new adventure.
If there is a silver lining for not allowing folks to get into the water along Mississippi's coastline, it may be that more folks will discover the hidden gems that they wouldn't have even tried to seek out before. Come on, I'll show you. Let's start in Bay St. Louis, recently named the best hidden gem destination in the state by Yahoo. Nikki Moon operates the Baytown Inn.
We get so many folks that are coming in here from just a few hours away that they like this escape.
A mix of live oaks and palm trees dot the quaint streets and offer a draw away from the shoreline.
We've got museums, we've got great galleries, local art is phenomenal. Our restaurants, the best. They're all within 2 to 3 blocks. Everything is so easy here.
Let's say you want to get the full-on beach experience, water and all. There's still a way to do it with Ship Island excursions.
You can go to Ship Island. You may not be able to swim along the mainland, but you can swim at Ship Island. The National Park Service is monitoring the water quality out there every day.
Down the beach highway in Biloxi, the Beau Rivage offers an escape for those who aren't ready to put the sand between their toes.
Full service resort destination, right? So people can come park their car and never have to leave all weekend, right? You've got a beautiful hotel, of course, casino. You've got incredible nightlife and shopping, the spa, of course, the tropical pool.
Lenoro is a Cirque-style production that will run at the Beau till August 7th and gives families another entertainment option. The coast has dealt with hesitation from tourists before, both after Katrina and the BP oil spill, and they want you to know they're open for business.
Yes, the water is closed on many areas, but again, that gives us that opportunity, that door's open. So many people really are not aware of all of the offerings that we have here.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
Wow, look at this amazing sunset in Starkville tonight. Looks eerie, but very colorful. Look at all that purple there. Always nice to see with the showers in play. Lows tonight down into the low 70s. Most of those going away right now. We do have more rain possible this weekend. Details on that are next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Well, the sky was on fire in parts of the area this evening. There are the trees in the foreground. Behind it, though, it looks like a raging inferno back there. Great color in the sky. Check that out in Noxapater, the sun going down on our Friday. Also in Oxford, too, some of those cumulus type clouds there, and giving rise to a great sunset, and not bad there in Brooksville either here on our Friday evening. All right, here's our Alpha Insurance time lapse from Louisville. You can see the showers and storms around earlier this afternoon. We've had these around during the afternoon and evening hours over the last couple of days here, and we still have some of the activity, but most of the downpours now in the Tupelo area. On the way out, we had some of that really coming on down with our Alpha Insurance camera network there in Tupelo, and you can see pretty quiet conditions elsewhere. But in general, things are unsettled here in the Deep South with this little disturbance roaming on through the region. Some lighter rain down here in the Golden Triangle area. Heavy downpours. Oktibbeha County anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain earlier. Same story up here near Tupelo, south and west of downtown, 1 to 2 plus here. So there could be a little bit of localized flooding in the near term. That will subside. But here's the disturbance. You can see this little kink, that little line right there. That is actually a little upper air feature moving back to the west. In general, there's a big area of high pressure, and typically when you see a big area of high pressure, it's hot and dry, but this little thing is trapped. And that's coming back to the west, and that will be giving us those rain chances for our day Saturday. So we may not see a lot initially. Can't rule out some rain in the morning, back up to around 90, and then once we see those storms start to pop, we'll go from the upper 80s to low 90s into the 70s, wherever those heavy downpours happen to be, much like today. So there may not be a lot of rain around initially when you wake up, but I think during the day we'll see clusters of storms roam around. Some of that could actually go from east to west again as that disturbance moves back to the west. So we'll see these clusters of storms around Saturday. A lot of that will tend to go away tomorrow evening, and then Sunday morning we'll tend to flare up more showers and storms around here, and some of those clusters could be with us during the day Sunday as well. Now we'll be watching this front back to the northwest, way up there across the high plains now. That's coming all the way down into the deep south, and as it crosses our area Monday and Tuesday, yes, another chance for some storms, but drier air as we get into the middle of next week. So pretty warm, pretty sticky through Monday, cooler Tuesday, drier starting Wednesday, highs only in the 80s, lows down into the 60s.
Northeast Mississippians share their recollections of the first moon landing 50 years later. We'll have that story coming up on WCBI News.
America remembers the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. Our Allie Martin catches up with some local residents about their memories of the historic moment.
Lewis Wasson is part of the drone program for agriculture at the MSU Extension Service. Earlier this week, he was helping lead a day camp, showing young people the many ways drones are used in agriculture. Wasson remembers exactly where he was 50 years ago when NASA put a man on the moon.
I was living in Starkville, Mississippi, and we had an old Zenith black and white television. And I remember just looking at it. And of course, I loved the space program growing up in that era. And so Apollo 11 was just it's a huge deal for me.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Wasson says his interest in the space program as a kid played a major role in his career path as an adult.
My mother showed this to me not long ago. I had a piece of paper, and it had on it a race car, an airplane or a jet, and a spacecraft. And I drew that when I was 4 years old, she said. She said, you set the course of your life at 4 years old. And so it's amazing how much the space program just really impacted me because I grew up with it.
Anyone fortunate enough to remember the Apollo 11 mission knows what a milestone it was for the United States. I was 4 years old, and like many boys my age, my imagination was captured by those daring astronauts. In fact, I even had my own astronaut helmet. I remember being able to stay up late to watch the moon landing. 50 years later, the memories are still vivid for myself and others.
At that time, when that first happened, I remember my parents being so just nervous that something bad was going to happen. Yeah. So that's my biggest memory of it. It's how nervous my dad was such a hard man, yeah. And for him to be nervous about something for me as a kid was like, wow.
Guys like me, I was back then, I was kind of a nerd, and so I was really interested in current events and things that were going to make history. And to be brutally honest, I'm not trying to put you on. I knew we were going to do it when Kennedy said, let's do it in '63. I mean, I was raised that America could do anything it wanted to do, including putting a man on the moon. Of course, we knew that the technology had to catch up with the concept and the idea. But it was a pretty big deal in West Point, Mississippi. We all talked about it.
That first moon landing is also known for uniting the world for a brief moment and having a lasting impact on technology used by everyone today. Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Head on up the ladder, Buzz.
Tomorrow marks the 50th anniversary of astronaut Neil Armstrong's first steps on the lunar surface. Alabama Week continues with Pickens County. More on the tornadoes' upcoming season right after the break.
Here's sports on WCBI.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris Bolton. Former MSU head football coach Jackie Sherrill can put a 15-year legal battle behind him with this week's settlement in his NCAA lawsuit. Sherrill's lawsuit alleged the NCAA damaged his reputation after publicly naming him in recruiting violation allegations in 2003. Jim Wade represented Sherrill and says the case brings to light troubling procedures regarding NCAA investigations.
The rules are so vague. For example, to punish a university, it has to be shown that there's been a major violation, a major infraction. And the definition they give of a major infraction is so vague that it would leave them free to choose any university and go and find violations. In fact, many people have commented to me that it would be absurd to think that the NCAA could not go to any university and find rules violations. Another problem in Mississippi is the state and Ole Miss have such a hatred by some fans of each other that they turn each other in repeatedly for trivial things.
Terms of the settlement are sealed. The high school football tour continues with the Pickens County Tornadoes. The Tornadoes are hungry to bounce back from a fourth-round playoff exit. Pickens County is stop number 26 on the high school football tour.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Sparklight.
The Pickens County Tornadoes enter this season with one goal in mind.
We're going to make it to state. I'm expecting us to make it to state, but I'm knowing that we will. I feel that we are mentally and physically better than we were last year, and we got a chance to win it all.
This group basically going to be like last year. We got a lot of big-time players, a lot of players we're going to need to step up this year, too. So, I mean, basically we just at the same mindset, trying to come in and win the state championship.
This year, man, we just got to stay motivated, play as a team. I just got to step up and be a leader, and that's about it.
This is a group that's played together for years, developing a tight chemistry led by quarterback Algeron Edwards.
It helps because he knows the plays and he knows the wide receivers, so he can throw it right on the money to our wide receivers, and they can make more plays for us.
We already got us a chemistry. We got a feel for how we can control each other, so basically it's just like a brotherhood with us.
One thing about this team, we have a lot of guys that really want to go play college ball, so I mean they know the expectations and they know the expectations of themselves and how they should play or how they should lead the team, so I mean everybody knows what we should be doing.
Man, help us real good, man, like we know each other move every time, so it's good.
The team leaders feel they have learned a valuable lesson from last year as they head into the season.
We can't get the big head. Like, we can't underestimate one team. Every team is the same. So we got to play it just like we played the other game.
You got to keep a level head. I mean, you can't take no opponent lightly. I think that's what we did fourth round. We went up there, we had the big head. We just thought we were going to get the win, but outcome was different. But, I mean, this year we're going to come in and remain humble every team that we play.
For a senior class has come so close to a state championship, a title would be the perfect way to ride out.
It'll mean everything to me. Me being a quarterback for 3 years, it'll mean a lot. Getting there my first year losing, then losing the fourth round last year, it'll mean a big thing for me to win this year.
Man, it mean the world to me, man. Just making everybody proud, bring it back to Reform, Alabama, man.
Reporting in Reform, Alabama on the high school football tour, Chris Bolton, WCBI Sports.
60 Schools in 60 Days with Pickens County High School was brought to you by Shop and Save, Vernon Dental Clinic, and Alpha Agent Alicia Clark.
With the new school year closing in, former Houston Hilltopper Blaze Gann has committed to continue playing Division III baseball with MUW. Blaze described the W as the full package.
They've proven the last 2 years, and they've only been a program for 2 years, and I mean they've made it to the World Series both years, and I mean if I'm gonna play baseball I want to compete, and the W is a really good school. They have a really good nursing program, so I felt like I fit in. Everybody, the staff, the students there, they're all really nice and supportive.
Chance for a few more showers and storms this weekend, Scott.
I know, you said my pool day is most likely ruined tomorrow.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Well, we'll see.
It's all right. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday.